Okay, hi boys. Seventh grade Y and J. Today we're going to be doing Tefillah Tuesday based on yesterday's Midos Monday. I hope you completed the assignment. For those of you who haven't, it's not too late to fix it, to send it in. It is late, but at least you'll get a completion in your grade books. As of now, some boys have it incomplete, which is marked as a 0. So if you could just get those homework assignments in on time would be the best. But if you can get it in, even if it's late, it would definitely help you out. So we're going to focus on Tefillah Tuesday. Today we are working on the Hallelujah number 2. We started from Hallelujah number 1, which is Hallelujah Halalin Afshias Hashem. That's on 28 in the Brown Siddurim. You're welcome to follow along with me at home if you have one of the Brown Siddurs from Yeshiva. It's on page 28, right after Ashrei. So the first Hallelujah following Ashrei, is referring to singing to Hashem and His praises, while the second Hallelujah, which is a little bit longer, I think it's the longest one of all of them, that starts with Ki Tov Zamra Elokeinu Ki Noim Nava Sihila. This Hallelujah, as Rabbi Bernstein points out, along with all other Tehillim, because most of the Psukei Zimra especially come from Tehillim, which are written by David HaMelech. David wrote 150 kapitlach, chapters of Tehillim, and it was all written by Ruach HaKodesh. David would sit there and write these poetic, tefillos, essentially, and he was inspired with divine assistance, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was helping him, be able to write these down. These are beautiful poems that are, packed with even halacha, because the Gemara likes to quote Tehillim a lot, and he used Tehillim as a raya for certain things in the Gemara as well. So, David HaMelech's Tehillim is just jam-packed full of things. It's very, very deep things. And so this Hallelujah, number 2, Ki Tov Zamra Elokeinu, this Hallelujah refers to singing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's praises, building up the third Beis HaMikdash, revealing HaKadosh Baruch Hu towards the end of the Mashiach's time. A number of hundreds of years ago, about 300 years ago or so, Bnei Yisrael went through a very, very tough time, as we always do, with the local governments or the local ordinances singling us out, punishing us, trying to stop us from being faithful. There was a false Messiah, which means that there was a person claiming to be Mashiach 300 or so years ago. And after that failed, and a lot of people died from a milchama from that, we were very obviously broken. And if you're looking on with me in your Siddur, you'll know that the next line of that Hallelujah is Bonei Yerushalayim Hashem. Hashem, please rebuild Yerushalayim. We're looking for Mashiach. And then the next line is Haroifei l'shavurei leiv hamechabesh la'atzavosam, which roughly translates to Hashem is the roifei, is the doctor, is the healer of those who are l'shavurei leiv, are broken hearted, who are depressed, who are sad. And whenever we feel that we're going through a rough time as Bnei Yisrael, what's the solution? What are we supposed to do? We're being attacked, we're being targeted. It's very, very apropos. It's very apparent nowadays as well, because of the situation in Eretz Yisrael, unfortunately, that we're a targeted nation. We're a nation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into the Bria, into the nature of the world, that we are going to be disliked and even hated by some people, mostly out of jealousy, whether they know it or not. So what are we supposed to do as Yidden? What are we supposed to do? So when we daven, we're supposed to be singing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And David HaMelech is giving us an insight in this Hallelujah of a way to connect to Hashem, to inspire us, to help us, and to cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will respond. And it's in that first line. Ki Tov Zamra Lelokeinu. It is good to sing out to Hashem. I'm reading from the Siddur next to me. That's why if you see me look over to the side, you're on my stender. Ki Tov Zamra Lelokeinu. Elokeinu, please, sing out. It's good to sing out to Hashem. Ki Noim Nava Sihila. For His praises are pleasant. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desires our tefillos more than anything in the world. And when we sing out to Him, whether that's in tefillah of whichever you connect to, Psukei Zimra, Kriya Shema, Shema itself, Shemona Esrei, to yourselves, to sing some of the words, especially Hallel, the Gemara says people like to and enjoy reading Hallel. These are ways for us to connect to Hashem. And if we learn the words, if we look in an English Siddur, or we take a look at the packet that Rabbi Bernstein gives us, and you'll see on the assignment posted here, I'll try to attach the worksheet so you can look through the English and try to match it up with the Hebrew. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us an outlet, a way to connect to Him, a way to find inspiration in those times where it could be so challenging and so dark. but to compliment HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to recite the words of David HaMelech, who we know wrote them with Ruach HaKodesh, wrote them with divine assistance. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was sort of putting the words in his mouth, so to speak, that he could write the words down and we can use it for all of time. We know that when the Jewish people go through hardship, the first thing we do is we get together and we say Tehillim. I still remember that first night after the war broke out in Israel, Rabbi Sobolovsky and Or Torah, that Motzei Shabbos, or that Motzei Yontif, whatever it was, I can't remember at this point, it's been so long, broke down almost in tears, about what's going on as he spoke to us and said that the Jewish people in America, what are we supposed to do? And the idea is that we learn, we do mitzvos, and we say Tehillim. And this is the way we can help from abroad, as you know. Don't forget, we are still at war with the world. We are still at war with individuals, whether it's in Israel or in the world at large. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is begging us to daven to Him, to have a relationship with Him. And when we ask for things, He's waiting to give it to us. We just need to ask. It's very hard for a parent to give their child a present that they want, or to give them something that they want without the child expressing that they want it. It's very hard. It's very hard for people to read people's minds. And now HaKadosh Baruch Hu can. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what we want in our deepest desires in our heart. But for our relationship purposes, we need to express ourselves and ask for it, and He's ready to give it. Because by asking, we are encouraging a relationship. If you just expect Hashem to give us without asking, that's not a relationship. That is not a relationship. That's just you taking from something. And that's not a two-way street. That's not a back and forth. To have a relationship with somebody, it needs to be give and take. You need to give a little, and you need to take a little. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ready to give, but are we ready to ask? That's the question. So tomorrow, hopefully during Shacharis, we'll pay a little extra attention to the words of davening, of Pesukei Zimra, of the Halukas, and have a little bit more kavanah in our davening. Thanks, guys.